Hello everybody, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we're returning to Civil War Generals 2. It is Thursday, it is Throwback Thursday, and we are returning to this 1997 Sierra Classic, looking at the American Civil War. We are playing through the Grand Campaign as the Confederates, and we've just been dealt a defeat at the Battle of Kernstown, a minor defeat, but basically we were routed from the field. We had a couple of officers killed. We lost about almost 700 men versus the Union 330. The only saving grace was we captured 414 Federals, which helped even the odds a little bit. We didn't capture a ton of weapons, only 16,027 value there, so there's probably not a lot to do in terms of upgrading our troops. Meanwhile, in this, and actually it didn't happen when we played through last time, but I have to pick the save up from where I pick it up. So in this save, Thomas J. Jackson has fully recovered his health, and he will be returning to command his units next turn. Meanwhile, J. Pleasance and Battery Leader Zero both died in combat. R.B. Garnett is being promoted to Major General. He was commanding the Stonewall Brigade in the last battle. Why anyone would be promoted out of the fiasco of Kernstown is beyond me, but it happened. C.A. Ronald, 4th Virginia Regiment, promoted to Colonel. J.S. Burks, promoted to Brigadier General. He was already commanding Burke's Brigade. D.B. Brigford, of the 1st Virginia Irish Battalion, is promoted to Major. T. Ashby of the Ashby's Cavalry Brigade, promoted to Brigadier General. That was one of the units that actually did pretty well in the last battle. And then 7th Virginia Cavalry B. Smalls and Chew's Heavy Artillery Battalion under R.P. Chew, both promoted to Major. In terms of down here on the bottom near replacements, Colonel Thomas J. Jackson has fully recovered and will return to active duty. The temporary commander of the Stonewall Brigade, Colonel W.H. Harmon, will return to his former post. Lieutenant J. Pleasance of the Mary's Hamps Artillery Battalion suffered a mortal wound while courageously leading his troops in battle. His unit is now led by Lieutenant Battery Leader Number 1. And Lieutenant Battery Leader Number 0 of the Mary's Heights Hampton Artillery Battalion suffered a mortal wound while courageously leading his troops in battle. His unit is now commanded by Lieutenant Battery Leader Number 1. Are these the same unit? Pleasance, Mary's Hampton Artillery suffered a mortal wound. It was led by Lieutenant 0, I think, and now replaced by 1. Don't command that artillery battalion, eh? Okay, so the Stonewall Brigade already has pretty damn good weapons. We could upgrade them to Sharps. That would increase their WP, so their firepower, although we would take a pretty big hit in terms of their bayonet power. We don't actually have enough money to do it anyway. Really, the only upgrade worth its while is the 1861 Springfield, which we can't afford either, so we'll just kind of leave them there with their M.J. Gardner rifles. Meanwhile, Burke's Brigade has 1822 smoothbores. We can upgrade that slightly, it looks like. I don't know if the difference between the 1822 versus the 1842. Palmettos, reboards, musketoons, Texas Tyler rifles. Can't afford anything, really. Let's look at artillery. Can we afford anything here? Yeah, so we can upgrade this artillery battalion to Whitworth's, which we're going to do, because it gives them really long range, so it'll be useful in counter battery fire, which has been a bit of a bugaboo for us, and that's basically all we can do. So weapons purchase is complete, and we are now moving on to the historical Battle of McDowell. The rebels need to fight a delaying action that leads the Union assault deeper into the hills. As the Union forces spread out, the rebels can mass their fire, bringing the Federals to their knees. The Union should try to crush the rebel forces atop the large hill in the middle. If they can do this, a simultaneous attack from multiple sides should cause the rebels to offer their surrender. Some historians disregarded Stonewall Jackson's defeat at Kernstown and view McDowell as the beginning of the Valley Campaign. On the tactical level, the Union achieved a draw. They surprised Jackson, seized the initiative, and inflicted heavier casualties, but failed to drive the rebels from their position. On the strategic level, the withdrawal of the U.S. Army was an important victory for the South. Of the 12,500 soldiers on both sides who took the field this day, about 760 were killed, wounded, or missing, 175 of them from the 12th Georgia alone. So according to some, this is the start of the Valley Campaign. According to others, the last battle was. Turn 1 of 17, so this is a one-day battle. We are again leading regimental-size units, and we're kind of spread out here. Couple of victory points. Stiggleton's Hill is probably an important position. These woods here at Bull Pasture River also. Looks like the Federals are probably along Hull's Ridge here to the north. My gut kind of just tells me that I should sort of hang in the wood line here. So that's, I think, what we're going to do. Okay. E. Johnson, commander of the 1st Division, 1st Corps, is on the field. And we're bringing up our reserves here. I'm just trying to think if this is like, where's the best place to make our stand? Is it along Singleton Hill? Maybe that's actually better here, further to the south. I like the wood line here, but I wonder if Singleton Hill is actually a better place to make a stand. Let's do that, because the interesting thing here is there's open ground in front of these woods. So these woods can actually provide a bit of cover as the Union come across open ground, and then we can shoot them down. Also, slightly better high ground. So I think that's what we'll do. And we'll zoom in here. And we'll move forward to turn number 2. So we've got Federal units moving around here. Turn number 2 of the battle. Where were they detected anyway? They're up here in the north. So they're already moving south. We've already switched these guys over into column formation. So that's what we're going to do. You know, we're going to move these troops this way. These guys over here. These troops are going to move into this wood line here. Move our headquarters to a reverse slope, and we'll form these troops up. All right, so that probably about does it for the troops I can't move back into column. Surprisingly, I have no artillery. That's the concerning thing here. Turn 3 and a bunch of reinforcements have arrived. Okay. So that should help. Meanwhile, we're going to dig these folks in. We'll dig the troops that can be dug in. We'll dig in. And then we'll also move these guys just a little bit north here to continue holding that. We'll move these guys onto the flank to extend our line here. All right, so we've built our defensive line, and we've got some reserves coming up here to help as well. Campbell's brigade is a pretty big one here. Again, still no artillery, though. That's a little bit concerning here as we move forward, because the Federals definitely have guns. Why they would move the way that they're moving, though, is a little bit confusing. I mean, are they trying to flank us and get around us by these guys swinging in right here, or are they just trying to take the objectives? I'm not quite sure. All right, so we'll do that. Take these guys in. And that'll end that turn. Alright, so the battle has begun in earnest. The first shots have been fired. Not surprisingly, the first shots are being fired by Federal artillery here against our positions along the way. We'll dig our troops in here in this wood line and await whatever the Federals throw at us here. Alright, so we're going to move one of these guys up here to refuse the flank a little bit up here, and then we're just going to await the attack. Again, I have no guns to shoot back at, so... Okay. And this guy moves over here. Alright, so I think that's, again, going to do it for the turn. We'll see if the Yankees ever actually attack us with anything. We got some enemy troops coming across the open ground here. We've got a little bit of a shoehorn, or fishhook type scenario here with the way our troops are arrayed. And the 32nd Ohio is coming up. We've got the 5th West Virginia off our flank. Again, the lone Federal artillery battery continue to hammer at us. They're not attacking direct on, which is frustrating. I wish the AI was just a little bit more aggressive against us rather than just trying to hit us with artillery. They seem to be content to go for the victory points, which is not something that I've experienced in this game in the past. They're not actually coming for us. Seriously? They're just going to dig in there? Well, I mean, I guess we got to move now. I can't just, like, sit back and do nothing. So I guess we'll have to go on the offensive ourselves, which is not what I was hoping to do. So they've got artillery up there. We'll advance on these victory points here, a frontal attack. That may allow us to flank them. I'd like to surround them if I can. I don't see a ton of Yankee troops here, actually. There are some off to the southwest. We don't have a ton of turns, though. I kind of let most of this battle kind of cruise by. So we'll see how this works out. More artillery, that's no surprise. What are they doing? This has to be the most passive AI I've seen ever in this game. Usually they try to do something. All right, let's see if we can surround these guys. Probably have to drive back these boys here, the 32nd Ohio, but I think I can probably do that. Meanwhile, in the south, we'll advance on the 5th West Virginia and try and flank and destroy it. Let's see, I've got those two in front, then I've got these three. 1, 2, 3. I don't have enough men to finish surrounding them. So we may have to move our headquarters unit here to try and finish that guy too. Defending general receives a mortal wound from artillery. What a lucky frickin' strike. What did you do that for? That was silly AI. Alright, well the AI just allowed 2 of its regiments to be encircled without a fight. So with that being said, let's go ahead and attack the 32nd Ohio here in the north. Now we are attacking through woods, but we have a substantial firepower advantage over them.
No, sir.
So that'll help. Surprisingly, we haven't actually forced them to surrender after 2 major attacks there. Nonetheless, they should be unable to break out. So they'll fall next turn. Meanwhile, we're going to try and encircle this other unit here to the south. This is the 5th West Virginia. So we'll see if we can do that next turn. We'll see if the AI again remains as passive. No, they won't. They'll attack. And they'll withdraw. Okay, so only 3 turns left. But I think, at least in this case, the 32nd Ohio is going to be whittled down and destroyed here through... I'm not actually going through bayonet charges. I'm trying to preserve our units in terms of casualties a little bit. So we succeeded there. We forced them to surrender. And then... I think we'll attack these guys. Coming from behind, heavy casualties. Their morale should start falling eventually, right? We'll hit them here. Again, coming in behind. Somehow we're taking all the casualties. And we still haven't caused them to surrender? Really? God damn it. Alright. Well, we should finish them off next turn. Meanwhile, we're going to charge the 18th Ohio. Actually,
No,
wait.
sir.
We're not going to charge the 18th Ohio. Ah, screw it. Yes, we are. Use that army morale up, drive them back, give them, butcher these guys. Oh, we didn't even drive them back. But we did butcher them. They lost a lot of men there. They're in no shape to keep fighting. Alright, so we probably won't surround them and destroy them, but we'll at least get a 2nd regiment up here in the north. Wow, their artillery drove that regiment back. Alright. Okay. Charge these guys. We're going to take heavy losses on this attack, I think. We do. But... I need more troops down there to cause them to surrender. Okay, now they've got no ammo left. They should surrender now. There they go. Alright, so a 2nd Federal Regiment has surrendered. Okay, our other troops up here just going to dig in and kind of hold that objective. We've taken 2 objectives down here. I'd like to try and get 1 more up here, knock out the 3rd West Virginia. Probably don't have a lot of time to do that. We'll see. Get our headquarter unit in behind them. Maybe we can cause another regiment to surrender. Nope, they're going to just retreat. And they're going to drive us back on this other position. All right, headquarters unit moves up here. These guys are driving us back in the north. Man, they just have such a huge advantage in terms of firepower against us. All right, we'll fall back there.
No, sir.
Meanwhile, in the north... Let's try... Alright, so we took some casualties there, that's fine. Alright, we'll see if we can get 1 more of these guys before the battle is over. This has kind of been a little bit of a lackluster affair, I feel like. So they just dug in this turn, which plays into our hands a little bit. Nope, can't move there. Well, shit. I can't finish these guys off, so I'll just have to attack and do as much as we can in terms of damage. Which is not very much, because I already moved the units that could have attacked him. Great. Attack there.
No, sir.
God damn it, I'm not even going to drive them back. We did inflict some casualties on them, I guess. This is going to be another indecisive affair. I think the Union might actually win. Actually, no. We control more of the victory hexes. They lost more men. They've lost men surrendered. Victory points clearly favor... Well, actually, victory points favor them slightly, so this might be a draw. I can't really do anything else this turn, though. So I guess we'll just have to end the turn and see what happens. Oversupply. Yes. All right. Another battle concluded. This one is concluded as a draw, so we probably blitz through this more quickly. I had hoped the Union would come out and attack us, and as a result of my own timidity, we don't accomplish anything more than a draw. So in this battle, the Confederates lose 111 men. The killed, 228 wounded. The Union lose 116 killed, 235 wounded. We did suffer 1 leader killed. 441 Union soldiers, however, surrendered, which gives us a pretty big edge in terms of casualties for this actual battle. The surrendered troops exceed the casualties for either side. 351 Union supplies captured from the Confederates, only 73 for the Confederates against the Union because several Confederate units did retreat. The Union also outperformed us on weapons cost captured. We had more... we had fewer victory points taken from victory hexes, but we had more victory points total. So all told, this battle is a draw. We've now won a major victory at Blackburn Ford, a major victory at Bull Run, but we've suffered a minor defeat at Kernstown and now a draw at McDowell. So R.P. Carson died in combat. That's the only sort of wounded thing to mention. J.A. Campbell of Burke's Brigade is promoted to Brigadier General. A couple of regimental officers here are promoted as well. J.M. Patton is now the Colonel of the 21st Virginia. D.A. Langhorne also promoted to Colonel of the 42nd Virginia. D.B. Brigford promoted to Lieutenant Colonel of the 1st Irish Battalion. A.G. Talisfaro and J.C. Campbell of the 23rd and 48th Virginia Regiment, respectively, promoted to colonel and lieutenant colonel. Z.T. Connor of Connor's Brigade is now a brigadier general. W.A. Hawkins of the 12th Georgia Regiment is a lieutenant colonel. A.H. Jackson, not to be confused with Stonewall Jackson or Thomas Stonewall Jackson, whatever it was, I'm just having a brain fart there, promoted to colonel. Scott of Scott's Brigade is a brigadier general. Cobb and Board of the 44th and 58th Virginia regiments are now lieutenant colonel and colonels, respectively. And E. Johnson, commander of the 1st Division, has been promoted to major general. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Colonel R.P. Carson of the 37th Virginia suffered a mortal wound while courageously leading his troops in battle. His unit is now led by Colonel S.V. Fulkerson. So not anywhere listed here on the promoted officers. Meanwhile, Stonewall Jackson's commanding the 1st Division. Actually, interesting enough, the 2nd Corps is being commanded by B.C. Deerhide. That's a hell of a name. J.A. Campbell. Can we upgrade your weapons at all, sir? So, actually, interestingly, the 1842 Palmetto is a Confederate copy of the U.S. 1842 smoothbore, so they have the same stats, but the Confederate version is cheaper. So we'll go with that. Promote you as well with slightly better weapons. B.F. Kidding of the 1st Corps. Brotherly freaking kidding. Musketoons will up a WP, but drop HH. I don't want to do that. Hand-to-hand's important. The way I fight, I do a lot of hand-to-hand fighting. Crap. I don't have enough money to upgrade any other weapons. 4591. I could do that. No, I can't even do that. Well, what do we do? Follow your nose. I guess we'll just have to... Hopefully the weapons cost captured can be banked. I don't know if it can. By the way, you can also dismiss leaders of units, which I don't know how that all plays out, but we could probably dismiss Deerhide to maybe see if we can move Stonewall Jackson into command of the Corps or something to that effect. Meanwhile, the battle now being fought is the Battle of Front Royal, Alternate 3. Union forces are somewhat more prepared than they were historically. They have divided their forces and taken positions on the high ground, hoping to lure the Confederates into the valley to be trapped. The Union should try to fight a delaying action, luring rebels into the hills where they can be destroyed. The rebels should try to quickly dispatch the delaying Federals and amass their fire on the hilltops. So the next battle coming up here is the Battle of Front Royal, an alternate which assumes a slightly better Union position than historically. Front Royal was a major Confederate victory historically, with only 50 casualties. Jackson crushed a Union garrison, taking over 750 prisoners and over 154 Union troops dead or wounded. So the first of the great Jacksonian victories in the valley at Front Royal. We'll see if this one's a little bit different. We won't be able to be as passive as we were last time around. With that being said, we will fight this another time. I'm sorry if this last battle was perhaps less interesting. I played too passive. We won't make that mistake again. Until next time, however, this is the Historical Gamer, as always, saying thank you very much for watching. We'll pick this up next time around. I hope you guys enjoyed, and until next time, I'm out.